Room 27 was always quiet. Too quiet. For as long as anyone could remember, it was a room shrouded in silence. Every single night, at precisely 9:30, a small, dim yellow light would flicker on behind its dusty window, casting a lonely glow into the sterile hospital hallway. The nurses noticed it. The security guards noticed it. But no one ever went inside. Why? Because room 27 belonged to Mr. Elias Grahaman, who hadn't spoken a single word in 7 long years. Elias was an old man, a relic from a time gone by. His hair was as white as freshly fallen winter snow, and his eyes, deep-set and weary, held a universe of stories no one had ever heard. The doctors had run every test imaginable. Physically, he was fine, but something deep within his soul, some vital spark, had simply gone out. He was a living ghost, haunting the corridors of his own mind. That was, until one evening, when a new nurse arrived. Her name was Lily. Lily was different. She wasn't like the others who bustled through the halls, treating patients like items on a checklist. She moved with a gentle grace, and her eyes held a warmth that seemed to push back against the cold, clinical air of the hospital. On her very first night, she found herself standing outside the foreboding door of room 27. Taking a deep breath, she gently knocked. Silence. Still. She turned the handle and entered. Inside, the air was heavy with unspoken grief. Elias sat by the window, a motionless silhouette against the city's distant, twinkling lights. He looked as if he were waiting for something. Or someone. Lily's heart ached for him. "Good evening, Mr. Gray," she said softly, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know your story yet, but I'd like to." Elias didn't move. His gaze remained fixed on the world outside, but something had shifted. That night, the small yellow light in room 27 stayed on just a little bit longer than usual. It was a tiny change, but it was a beginning. The next day, Lily came again, and the day after that. And the day after that, she didn't press him for answers. Instead, she just talked. She told him about the shifting colors of the autumn leaves, about the silly dog she had as a child, about her hopes and dreams for the future. She filled the suffocating silence with the simple, beautiful noise of life. Weeks turned into a month. The quiet routine continued. Then, one night, Lily brought something with her. It was a small, antique music box, its wood worn smooth with age. She sat down near Elias, wound to the tiny key, and a soft, delicate melody began to drift through the room. It was a simple tune, full of nostalgia and a sweet, lingering sadness. And then it happened. A single tear escaped from Elias's eye and traced a silent path down his withered cheek. It was the first sign of life, the first crack in the icy wall he had built around himself, that anyone had seen in 7 years. Lily froze, her breath caught in her throat. "You remember this," she whispered, her voice trembling with a mixture of shock and hope. Elias's lips quivered. He took a shaky breath, and then, in a voice raspy from years of disuse, he spoke. "She loved this song." Those were his first words. A dam had broken. Lily listened, completely captivated, as Elias finally spoke. He told her about his wife, Anna. He described how every night she would turn on a lamp in their living room window, a little beacon of love, while she waited for him to come home from his late shift. Her light was his guide, his comfort, his promise of home. But one night, the unthinkable happened. Anna passed away suddenly. The light in the window stayed on, but Elias never came back the same man. He had lost his anchor, his North Star. "I kept the light on," Elias explained, his voice thick with unshed tears. "Here, every night. I was hoping she'd find her way back to me. The lamp in room 27 wasn't just a light. It was a vigil. It was a desperate, 7-year-long prayer from a broken heart." That night, after Lily left, the light in room 27 turned off for the very first time. The vigil was over. The next morning, the nurses found Elias. He had passed away peacefully in his sleep, a small, serene smile gracing his face. On the bedside table, resting next to the silent music box, was a note. The handwriting was shaky, but the message was clear. Thank you for listening. I am no longer alone. Elias was gone, but his story lived on. And from that day forward, Lily made a silent promise to herself. She made sure that in her hospital, no room ever stayed too quiet again. Because sometimes, the greatest medicine isn't found in a pill or a procedure, but in the simple, profound act of listening. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider subscribing for more content that celebrates the power of human connection.